In this video, we'll get into shortcuts, all the keys we can use to make things happen auto-magically in this environment. So we can find out about the shortcuts by clicking on About, and these are the default values for them. And so we can use them maybe while this is still open. Let's try. If I press Control N, that brings me to a new sketch. So this is great. While you're sketching, just quickly jump to creating a brand new sketch and start coding away. Control Enter does a recompile, a soft recompile if necessary. And this is particularly a soft compile if we've disabled auto compiling live coding mode. So I'm just going to draw something again and say circle. I'm going to disable the live coding. Let's do something else. Let's do a frame count modulo width with a mouse Y and 100. And like this, it's not auto compiling because I used a shortcut Control A to turn on and off auto compile. So auto compile is off. I press enter and now I have this circle running along. If I change the fill of it and say fill random 255, it did a soft compile. It didn't have to recompile everything. If I press Control Shift Enter, then that forces a recompile. So I'll also say frame count modulo 200, Control Enter, again doing a soft compile, Control Shift Enter, forcing a hard compile. Let's bring this back down to just white. Yeah, so hard compile, soft compile. Soft compile, again, just tries to update our code without refreshing the whole sketch. A hard compile forces a refresh. Soft compiles are not possible if you're live coding and make changes to the setup or the global space. It sort of does a check and says, I'll show you that real quick. Let's change this to another color. So I'm soft compiling right now. It's letting me change the color. But if I make a change in the setup, let me disable this and say, I do want a background. Let's have a background that is blue. It had to do a hard recompile in order to make that change because we told something to change in the setup. So it keeps track if you're editing at the very top or not, or if you're using functions, it also listens to is that function being used in the setup or the draw? So it tries to automatically do this soft or hard compile. But back to the shortcuts. Control E turns our editor on and off. Control M turns the menu on and off. Control A is this auto compile. Control comma shows us the settings. So we could quickly jump in and change a setting and hide it, bring it up, hide it. Control R brings up, I'll show the menu for a second, the references panel back there. Control R loads the references. So this is really nice that you're typing away and you forgot how, let's say, translate. How do I use translate? I want to play with translate. It needs maybe one value or 100. Why isn't this working? Control R, it's ready to start typing. It sets the mouse already active there. Translate. I can go read about how many values I should have in there and okay, the X and the Y. So let's fix that, recompile once, and then it's working again. Let's bring up this menu again. Control B shows us the chalkboard that I quickly showed you in the very beginning. This sits on top of that. So the chalkboard, again, is this space where we can quickly just explain things. I can make drawings. I can highlight some code or so. And yeah, Control B turns that on and off, especially useful if you have the opacity up and you want to quickly jump between those modes. Control T tidies your code. So this is very similar to in processing, also the P5.js editor. If I am getting things kind of out of place and it's not quite as clean as maybe I should have it, Control T will clean all that up. as much as it can for us. This is also really helpful in case you have if statements. And I said, if mouse is pressed, and I had a curly guy, and then I made some space, and I said, okay, if I press the mouse, what do I want to do? I want to have a line that is this sort of really basic drawing line. And so I say, it's not working, it's turned red, something's wrong. If I control T once, maybe even if I had this in like so, I press control T and it shows me that it had to indent that out. And then it says, okay, maybe I never closed this thing and now it's happy and I can draw on my sketch. So tidy is really helpful for cleaning it up. Control space. Does this auto complete? I think that is a typo. That might be a typo unless I changed it. Control space. No, it is. I think I also have option space to do it. I thought it was option space. Both of those work. Control space. Again, what is that? It's helpful if you're trying to remember how a function worked. And so I could say I wanted to play with maybe a fill that used frame count something. I can start to remember what that is. Oh yeah, frame count and then modulo 255, recompile, and this thing is fading for me. Control plus and minus bring our editor smaller and bigger. We see it equals in the little shortcuts here, but it is the plus key on a US QWERTY keyboard. Control S is our screenshot saving snapshot. So I can draw something, I can press Control S, and in a couple seconds, I get both the PNG and the code. Control I is a special function for a particular social media platform that works with a square. It warns me I have this open, I should close it, but it makes it ready in case you want to use QuickTime to draw a box around this thing and capture it in a square format. So Control I brings this box up, and Control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through your keyboard are a really quick way that we can jump between our sketches. So Control 1 is our first, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, Control 5, 6. I can even go into the demos if I don't have so many sketches. And this is useful for performing, that maybe you have a couple sketches that you're working on and you can really quickly jump between them by using the control key. And so you could have one mode doing a certain audio reaction and then jump to another one and jump back and forth. So those are the default shortcuts. Again, under the settings, halfway down, we can customize any of them. You simply click on it and adjust it. Commenting code is one of the first ones I have students with international keyboards change. So on a US QWERTY keyboard, I can select a whole bunch of code and press Command / to turn it off. On other keyboards, you may have to press additional modifier keys like Shift and some other key. So it might not work to do that. In that case, you should simply click on comment code, press the shortcut that you would like, use a couple modifier keys, and then you get to have that functionality of quickly turning code on and off. If you change your mind and don't want to adjust it, just click it again and it stops listening. Yep, that is shortcuts. Hope that is fairly clear. One last shortcut that I'm going to sneak into the end of this video is something called Snippets. There are snippets, that'll be our own video, but basically a snippet can add some code above, inside the setup, in the draw for different purposes. And there's one shortcut waiting for you. If you want to quickly make your sketch audio reactive, I can press Control-Shift-A, and it just added some code to my sketch for listening to audio. Ready with the basic mic, the waveform FFT, and it tells you up at the top, use some of these values. So instead of frame count, I'm just going to put amp here. And now you can see maybe times 5, This is reacting to my audio. If I want to have it be smoother, I could say amp ease, and then you'll see this is a smooth change using my audio. So again, this is just a quick shortcut to introduce a snippet for reacting to audio. You can customize snippets. You can add additional snippets. That's its own video. But this is a really great shortcut to use while performing to quickly get things audio reactive. That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Up. Whoa. 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 Whoa.